from our own. But although we know the negatives in our nation's history, as creatures of culture and citizens of countries, we still tend to wish blessings upon our places of domicile. We still wish that our nation would be insulated and isolated from all that is evil. And so our leaders continue to repeat the three-word prayer: God bless America. However, Osama bin Laden's recent statement that was seen by some as a threat is actually a recognition of a fact. Bin Laden declared that America will not experience security until the rest of the world experiences security. The truth of the matter is, America can never be blessed in isolation. A picture of a truly blessed land is painted by the Israelite prophets, who describe a land where swords are transformed into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks. A blessed nation has no need for an army because Yahweh Sabaoth is its protector. A blessed nation has no need for a national security guard, for El Shaddai patrols its borders. A blessed nation has no need to fear terrorist attacks because it can truly say, in God we trust. In fact, I dare say today that in light of Luke chapter 6, if God were to pour out his blessings on individual nations and he had to choose between America and Afghanistan, Jesus in Luke chapter 6 verses 20 through 23 gives us a clear indicator who the winner would be. Here Jesus says, blessed are you poor. Blessed are you who are hungry. Blessed are you who weep. Blessed are you when men hate you. When one examines the condition of the two countries in light of the Sermon on the Plain, Afghanistan, we find, is more poised for the blessings of God than is America. Afghanistan is one of the poorest nations on the face of this earth, and has been ravaged by decades of unrest and civil war after being released from English domination. Death and starvation are commonplace in Afghanistan. The infant mortality rate is seriously high. Few people live past the age of 50. Poverty, famine, mourning, and ridicule are the order of the day. I submit today, if God were ever in the nation blessing business, then surely Afghanistan will be poised for a blessing. Adversely, based again on Luke chapter 6, if God were to pour out his wrath on individual nations and were to place America and Afghanistan in front of him, guess who the most likely candidate would be? In Luke chapter 6 verses 24 through 26, Jesus warns, woe to you that are rich. Woe to you that are full now. Woe to you that laugh now. Woe to you when all people speak well of you. When compared to the rest of the world, America boasts the material manifestations that some confuse with the blessings of God. The gross domestic product is extremely high. Life expectancy is high. Since the Civil War, the country has not experienced a war on this soil. People on welfare receive more money in a month than a pastor in Uganda earns in an entire year. The food that is thrown away on a daily basis is enough to satisfy world hunger. We have entertainment machines and gadgets in every room in the house. The whole world marvels after our success. They speak well of us. We see this as a symbol of blessing, but God looks at our selfishness and proclaims a curse on the system. Many Christians have lost sight of the original implications of Christianity. From its very inception, Christianity had decried the evils of capitalistic greed. In fact, as we read in Revelation chapter 18, Jesus decries the capitalistic system as he announces the fall of Babylon. When Babylon falls, the stockbrokers and the chief executive officers of the multinationals weep and wail. Ziggy Marley is correct in his observation that the major reason for the judgment upon Babylon stems from its pleasure in conquering the poor and oppressing the underprivileged. Indeed, when the prophet to the remnant Ellen White witnessed the destruction of the World Trade Center almost 100 years ago, she distinctly stated that the reason for its destruction was due to the fact that it was paid for by the wealth, the blood, the sweat, the tears of exploited people. The diamonds and gold of Southern Africa and Asia, the oil of Afro-Asia, the bauxite of Jamaica and Venezuela. And on September 11, America just reaped a small portion of what it has sown. And according to the Bible, the worst is yet to come. This morning, I dare not minimize the multifaceted impact of the recent acts of atrocity. I dare not trivialize the horror of Satan's ability to beguile the gullible in the name of faith. I dare not remind America that chickens do come home to roost. But at the same time, as Christians, we need to wake up to the reality that human suffering did not start on September the 11th, 2001. Tragedy is not a concept that was recently invented. The 7,000 plus lives are but a fraction of those who suffer globally as a result of the devil's terrorist activities. When a recent hurricane ravaged havoc in the Caribbean, skipped the Carolinas and hit South America, I remember one news reporter having pleasure in announcing the good news. Good news because American lives had been spared. And I ask, good news from whose perspective? When the lone survivor thanks God for saving him from disaster, when others have lost their lives, does he think that God is smiling? Does God only weep when American lives are lost? Is he not concerned about the thousands of Afghans who have been slaughtered by the Taliban? Is he not appalled by the host of Kurds who suffer at the hands of Saddam Hussein? Is he not moved when U.S. and British missiles end the life of Iraqi and Afghan children who are relegated to collateral damage? Does he not ache when millions of children in India, Somalia, Rwanda, Sudan, Poland, and Romania die from starvation? Does he not weep when the masses in Uganda, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, and Botswana are stricken by the human immunodeficiency virus? On September 11th, horror came closer to home, but we experienced